Hello, my name is Jill, and I am from Phoenix, Arizona, and I am a patient of the Prime program. I'm here actually in Lincoln for my first follow-up, and what precipitated all of this, it actually goes back to when I was a child. I was born with a cataract in my right eye, which may have played a role in everything that I've been dealing with. But also, I had braces on my teeth, and once those were removed, about a year later, I started injuring my left ankle. And through the course of my life, I consistently injured my left ankle. I had really bad sprains. I was even told at one point by a foot and ankle doctor that if I sprained my ankle again, I would break it. And so I spent a good portion of my life trying to protect my left ankle when I walked or when I ran, which in turn set me into a pattern that sent me down this road. And so I noticed in college that in high school, college, I started to develop a slight tremor in my left hand that was only noticeable, just from time to time. And then it progressed to my left eye drooping once in a while, and then it just stopped. I also found that in photos, I had a left lazy eye, and I just really didn't think much about those things. I was young, it didn't really bother me. And so back in 2002, 2003, I actually had an issue where I started to lose hearing in my right ear. And it wasn't a lot of hearing, but it was enough to be noticeable, where I ended up getting a hearing aid. And the doctors in Phoenix couldn't figure out what would have caused this hearing loss. And so I sought another opinion from a doctor in the Midwest, and even to this day, that diagnosis is disputable. So, lost a little bit of hearing and just continued on. Would continue to injure my left ankle. And so then about a little over 2 years ago, I was in a stressful situation with work, and it was a good stress. It was an exciting stress, but it was a good amount of stress. And so I was dealing with that, excited, preparing for this interview, and went through the interview, went really well. And that evening I went to a concert. And with the light and the sound, I actually fell that evening and hurt my left ankle again. That just pushed me over the edge. And a couple days later, I started to feel like I had the flu. My body didn't feel right. I kind of ached. And then I noticed that I had that pressure in my right ear again that I had when I lost hearing the first time. And I noticed my hearing change again, and I lost a bit more hearing. I also developed a constant hissing sound in my right ear, just tinnitus, and I started to get really dizzy. And that progressed. I got to the point where I couldn't drive anymore. I couldn't articulate what I wanted to say. I couldn't process things. If someone asked me a question, it was difficult for me to process that, let alone answer them. I couldn't read. I couldn't write. It was hard for me to watch TV. I couldn't take care of my children. It just really halted my quality of life. And so I began seeking out answers for this and was diagnosed with various things, Meniere's disease, labyrinthitis, neuritis. And I even at one point had seizure-like activity with my vertigo, and my eyes would flicker back and forth. So it was a really scary time. And so my mom had heard Ron Haruska speak at a conference at about 15, 20 years ago. And she had sought out his nephew, Ryan Haruska, in Omaha, who is a pastoral physical therapist. And so she brought me there just to get another opinion. And at that time, Ryan determined that we were dealing with a neurological case, that my brain was not recognizing the left side of my body as it was with the right. And so I started going through physical therapy with Ryan. It was helping me, and I started to get better, but I never got out of it. There was never a day where I didn't feel dizzy, but I was able to manage it better. And then last summer, I had another episode, and new symptoms cropped up. I had nerve pain from head to toe. My lower back and my neck locked up. I felt like I had been in a bad car accident. I started developing muscle pain and joint pain all over my body. I was also dealing with a lot of inflammation. And so I went back to Ryan in Omaha, and he said, "You're still dealing with the same issue." So again, more physical therapy. I started to get better, and then I had some more symptoms, new symptoms crop up. I noticed that my vision started to blur, and at different times it was as if my eyes just kind of crossed and then it would go back, and it was blurry. So I went to my eye doctor in Arizona thinking I just needed glasses, and they discovered that when I try to focus on an object, my eyes would want to go out. And so they put something in my eyeglasses to force my eyes to go in, and that's what pushed me over the edge and brought me to Lincoln to the Prime program. I had severe vertigo. I couldn't get out of bed. And then I began to experience stroke symptoms on my left side of my face. I wasn't having a stroke, but the nerves in my face were causing my left corner of my mouth to droop, to pull down, and then it would stop. And then my left eyelid shut, and I couldn't open it until I put my mouth guard in. And so I called Ryan Haruska in Omaha, and I said, "Listen, I'm in really bad shape." And he said, "You need to come back, and I need to send you to Lincoln to the Prime program." And so that's where it started. I am so, so grateful for Ron Haruska and Dr. Heidi Wise and the whole team, the orthodontist, Dr. Hull, and Dr. Campbell, the dentist, and my physical therapist here at the Haruska Clinic, Torrin. They have been incredible. You know, it was the first time that I was writing down pages of symptoms, and I wasn't afraid. I knew that they were going to have an answer for me, and they were going to create a plan that was customizable for me. And so I met with Ron and Heidi and, you know, the doctor, the dentist, the orthodontist, and I knew instantly before they said one thing, I could tell in their eyes that this was not the first time they had seen a case like mine before. They had seen me walk through this door time and time again, and they knew what to do. And I was just so touched by that. Everybody was so gentle and so caring and so patient and sensitive towards me because it was very emotional. I really was losing the quality of my life, and I was headed down a path where the symptoms were compounding and it was just getting worse, and I wasn't able to function like I was beforehand. So they gave me training glasses, they gave me a mouth appliance and some special shoes, tennis shoes to wear. And I started this process of retraining my brain. And just, I'm here for my first follow-up. I actually was able to come back a lot sooner than any of us had anticipated, which is exciting because it's telling me and it's telling everyone in the Prime program that, hey, Jill's brain is healing. She's creating these new neural pathways, and I'm seeing results. And it's just really, really encouraging. Some advice that I would have for people that are considering the Prime program, I went and saw countless doctors and was handed diagnosis after diagnosis. And I knew it had to be something more than that, or I knew that it wasn't the right diagnosis. And so I wasn't willing to settle for that. I really had to look outside of the box. And I'm thankful that I did, and that my mom brought me to, Ryan in Omaha, which in turn brought me to Lincoln. So, keep searching and don't settle if you don't feel that that's the right diagnosis, or that it could be something more. When you're going through the program, be patient. Retraining your brain does not happen overnight, unfortunately. But be patient and make sure that you have a support system around you. It really takes a village. You obviously have Ron Haruska here, and you've got Dr. Wise, and you have, their whole team. Megan, that are here for you if you have questions or if you have concerns. But also, my family and friends played an integral part in helping me get to where I'm at today, and they're still helping me through this journey. And so to have that support system is huge. The other, thing that I wanted to note was that as you're going through this retraining of your brain and you're going through this program, you're going to have good days and you're going to have really hard days where you just don't feel well at all. And you begin to question, is this even working? And it is. That's part of the healing process. And I can't emphasize it enough. If you aren't journaling, if you're not a journaler, or you haven't started journaling yet, start journaling now. Because as you go through this healing process, and when you hit that really hard day, it's awesome to have something to reference back to and tell yourself, wow, I have come a long ways, or I have made progress, because you're going to need those reminders. And then one of the things that really has given me comfort and has helped me through this first phase of the Prime program is that you're going to continue to experience your symptoms. And as you're going through this program, you may have new symptoms that crop up that you haven't felt before. And I was told that could happen. And so when those new symptoms cropped up, I didn't have that fear. I knew that, okay, this is part of the process. I'm just gonna, work through it, and then they go away, and it can come and go, but it's just part of the healing. So I am so grateful for the Prime program. It's giving me my life back. It is giving me my life back, and I can see it in my husband, and I can see it in my children's eyes that I'm not only excited, but they're excited too. And I have a lot of life to live, and I can't wait to jump back in. So thank you, Ron and Heidi and Torin and Dr. Campbell and Dr. Hull and Megan and everyone else involved for making this possible. And I just hope that I can give hope to someone out there listening to me that there are people that can help you. Thank you.